Did you see this this story? This Selena Gomez is after my own heart here.
Yeah.
She is. So Selena Gomez says she hasn't been on the internet in 4 years.
Whoa.
That's incredible.
That's awesome.
One thing, do you think that she means social media, or do you think she means the internet entirely?
I think she means social media because I don't know how you can function without the internet.
Do you think she drives?
She might have someone to do
No.
all these things for her.
Exactly. I was thinking like this is not realistic for the average person.
Like because I've been thinking like my dad uses a flip phone and but he's got GPS in his car.
Right.
These days, like I was explaining to someone how like because of the like I've lived in the city, I let my license lapse. I haven't driven in like 6 or 7 years or something like
Jeez,
that.
dude.
But like I was thinking about like phones with like good GPS weren't even like really all that much of a thing back when I was driving on a
Yeah,
regular basis.
interesting.
So it's like now it's like back then it's like, oh, how do you just had to know how to get everywhere. Now you use your phone to tell you to get anywhere. It's like, or even if you're just going somewhere new of the day, like you don't have to make plans as far in advance because you can just find stuff to do as you go.
Right.
Can somebody do that really? I think she means social media. Like she's just not
Well,
using
she's
social
definitely
media.
driven everywhere, and she has social media teams.
Yeah.
Right.
So
that deal with promoting
She
her
doesn't have
music
to.
and everything
Yeah.
she's doing for her.
That
Yeah.
does seem like a privileged stance to take. Like, good for her, don't get me wrong. Mindlessly scrolling social media is not good for anyone. She obviously has stuff she's spending her time on that she thinks is a better use of her time.
I've gone down the rabbit hole of like YouTubing people who like go long periods of time without social media and they make long videos about it and the benefits of it. And it's one of those things that I would like to be able to do on a regular basis. Like one of the big themes, anybody who's followed me on social media, my Instagram page would have, I mean, I don't know if there's a lot of crossover between skating and here, but a big thing that I would talk about was the damage that too much time on social media would do to me mentally, meaning that there would be days where I would go out and make specific videos to talk about how just awful I felt and how most of that awful feeling went away the moment I went outside and just had the wherewithal to put my phone in my pocket or leave it in my bag rather than carry it and walk around with it. And the joy that can come from like kind of reconnecting with the world like that. But for them, I think it's more like you're just going to be constantly under assault with people having an opinion on who you are. Like we're part of that machine here in a way. That's why even when I'm joking, I try to be at least show that I'm not trying to be disrespectful, funny maybe, but not, it's not like I mean ill will towards any of these people. Because you have to, but in that job, in that line of work, they have to learn how to be able to deal with that. They can't let it get to them. Otherwise you end up like these people on Twitter who then argue with people. Like, did you see
Cardi
the meme?
B.
Cardi B. Did you see the meme the other day about Elon Musk? They're like, how does Elon Musk run 2 companies, start a 3rd company, have 6 kids by 2 women and still find time to argue with Joe Schmo 32 on Twitter about why Bitcoin is awesome? Like
He's Superman as far as I'm concerned.
he but certain people, Trump was the same way. He was he could troll and shitpost, and that was like his thing.
Yeah.
To me, that's just draining. Like I don't know.
I
love it.
love it.
You love
I get
it.
life
I think it's
force
fun,
out
yeah.
of making people angry. I think it's hilarious. Super
What do you love
fun.
about it so much?
Just getting people riled up when I'm just chilling.
Okay,
It's so funny.
there's a power dynamic to that because you know that it's riling them up. It's literally the
Yeah.
old troll meme.
Yeah.
It's that we're. In fact, I'm gonna Photoshop that over your face later. It's that meme, like where it's like
and
that
it's real.
and that term is overused now. Troll.
Trolling.
Like somebody comes and is like, I didn't really like this scene of you in this movie. I think this was acted poorly, and the direction was kind of spotty. The trolls are coming after
Like if
me.
you say anything negative, you're a troll.
Yes, exactly.
Like I could just voice an opinion that makes you mad. That doesn't make me the troll.
yeah. No.
So Gomez says that I haven't been on the internet in 4.5 years, she revealed. It has changed my life completely. I am happier. I am more present. I connect more with people. It makes me feel normal. The funny thing is I use that exact line. It's like I feel more present in the world when I'm not connected to my phone as much. Said growing up in the spotlight has definitely taught me so much. She explained, I can't believe that I'm where I am mentally just because how I took the necessary steps in order to kind of remove myself from that because that is just not normal. Gomez, along with her mom, Mandy, and businesswoman Daniela have kickstarted the mental fitness company Wondermind, which provides mental health resources for free online. I really want people to understand and see, and I want people to be understood and seen and heard, Gomez said. If I'm known for anything, I hope it's simply just for the way I care about people. That sounds very PR heavy to me.
Yeah.
That's fine. She's promoting a business. We just covered Justin Bieber the other day. Spent like $3 million to give like his coworker, like the people who work for him and like fans, like free online.
From BetterHelp. I don't know if Wondermind is anything like BetterHelp, but they're probably both trash.
They're probably they're the same idea
Yeah.
in company idea. So it's like this is I do take issue with the fact that there's so many like actress and activist. I'm like, can we just not make activism cool again? Let's make activism uncool again.
Yeah. Anti-activist.
Yes,
right?
it's not enough to not be an activist. You have
Being
to be
an activist should
actively-
be embarrassing.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not enough to just not be an activist. You should now be actively anti-activist.
Yes.
That's
100%.
That's my stake.
I
and
agree.
And I'm sticking to it. So, but for Selena Gomez, she is bipolar, and she's been very open with that diagnosis. And it says she reveals how much that helped her. It says when I was where was I was looking for that paragraph. When I finally said what I was going to say, I wanted to know everything about it. She's talking about when she got her diagnosis,
Right.
and it took the fear away. When I was younger, I was scared of thunderstorms, and my mom bought me all these books about different thunderstorms. The more you educate yourself on this, the more you're not going to be afraid, and it completely worked. You worked in the healthcare industry.
Yeah. So this is interesting what she has to say because it's actually something that Jordan Peterson talks about. He talks about facing the dragon, and he uses the story of this little boy and his family denies the existence of this dragon until the dragon is walking down the street with their house on his back. And he's like, you cannot deny things that are really happening to you. If it is transformative when you name something, like when you get a cancer diagnosis,
Yeah.
you can be like, okay, that's what that is. Other people have had that. Here's how we deal with it.
Yep.
Instead of just being like, something's wrong with me. I don't know what it is. Does it mean I'm going to die tomorrow? I don't know.
Yep.
So she's right about like having an actual diagnosis and coming to terms with it. As far as like social media and stuff like bipolar disorder, I think that if you remove some of the outside noise from something like mania that comes along with bipolar
Yes.
disorder.
Type
it
1,
would
right?
make it- yeah, I believe so. It would make it a lot easier to handle.
I did find that because I was just looking up for. I mean, obviously, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a
Right.
medical professional.
several
But I was
different
I was looking up to just different information because I wanted to know if there were environmental causes related to it because I assumed it was just genetic entirely, right?
That I
but
don't
it
know.
says, at least according to Wikipedia, which obviously we're not saying to trust that, but just on the basis of looking this up because I was curious, it says psychosocial factors play a significant role in the development and course of bipolar disorder, and individual psychosocial variables may interact with genetic dispositions. Recent life events and interpersonal relationships likely contribute to the onset and recurrence of bipolar mood disorders. So your environment can play a role in how it progresses, right?
That makes sense.
And then it says in comorbidities, they talk about how people with bipolar disorder often have other coexisting psychiatric conditions such as anxiety,
Yep.
which, if in these industries are very prevalent.
Oh, yeah.
Just because of what they deal with, that much public pressure, that much pressure to finish work on something that costs millions of dollars to make. I work on something very, very, I'm still putting out here that it's not on that level, but I still get anxiety worrying
Yeah,
about.
We're
you're
talking about it, chicken or egg. Is it that people with bipolar disorder are attracted more to the entertainment industry and acting
I bet they are.
Yeah,
and performing, or is that something that comes later with the pressure of that field?
I feel like it's that kind of person because I don't know how much you guys know about Van Gogh, but he had similar issues, and
Yep.
a lot of artists did. Like certain artists that were not successful had horrible
Yep.
mental issues and ended up ruining people's lives because of it.
Yep.
Like it's a big problem.
So there was the article you sent me, and you both sent me this article about Cole Sprouse,
Oh, yeah.
saying child actors never turn out okay, and that fame is trauma, and that seems relevant to me because trauma goes hand in hand with this. It says Cole Sprouse began acting when he was just 6 months old, but being a child actor hasn't been all fun and games. And this is This is the worst kept secret in Hollywood, that if you end up as a child actor, there's a strong possibility that you're going to end up with emotional trauma.
Well,
Especially from Disney.
Especially from Disney.
Yeah, and this is actually called an open secret because it's not just emotional trauma that you come by in these fields. It's very much molestation
Yep.
and being used in that way. It's really tragic and horrible, and that needs to change for sure. So hopefully Cole Sprouse can do something with that.
He says, when we talk about child stars going nuts, that's what we're not actually talking about is how fame is a trauma. Sprouse told the New York Times in a candid interview. The 29-year-old explained his defensiveness over criticism of child actors spiraling out of control, especially those mocking the experiences of young women.
Yeah.
I'm one of these people. I don't like. This is such a weird aside. I hate the term boy, mom, girl, dad.
Yeah,
I hate.
why?
Why is the? I hate that it matters more. That like, does the woman's trauma matter more than the childhood boy? Does the boy's childhood trauma matter more than the girl's childhood trauma? I don't think that they should matter any less or more. I don't think that's necessarily relevant here. But it always seems weird that they want to boil these things down to categories. How about just child trauma?
I think it's possible too that it affects these different genders differently as they age.
Yes,
Jonathan
he said
Haidt.
the young women were so heavily sexualized
Yes.
from such an
Right.
earlier age than my brother and
Yeah,
I.
that's a little different.
That you can't compare the experiences.
That's
But
fair.
there are other experiences that the young women might not have had.
Yes. Okay. So
Right.
it's his experience here, and that's Jonathan Haidt talks about this, about young women and the effect social media has had on them,
bad, really bad.
and they're people are more depressed than ever. People are more unhappy than ever. You'd think that with all the technological advances we're going through that we'd be getting happier, but we're not.
Oh no.
So yeah, he talks about what him and his brother went through, and a lot of these, like we were talking earlier, like did any of them manage to make it through? Like Britney Spears obviously came through with so much trauma going related to her
Amanda
family.
Bynes,
Amanda
right?
Bynes is going through.
Yeah.
She's
Both
seems
of
to.
them are barely crawling out
Right.
from under
Bynes
the fist.
Bynes has been lucky to have family that gives a crap about her, whereas Britney clearly didn't.
But she was in a conservatorship too.
Yeah,
Like,
but
she was able to get out of hers.
her family supported her
choice.
getting out of it. Her
Right.
her family was clearly there with her along the way and wanted for her to get better.
Yeah.
But like Justin Timberlake seems mildly okay.
He's a little older
He's a
too.
little, but he was part of that same Mickey Mouse Club. Same with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh yeah.
But
Hillary Duff.
Hillary Duff is the one that seems to have come out pretty normal.
Right.
She was
Got
the
put in
nepotism
the
baby
list.
though.
Candi-
She was kind of
Might have been
placed where
different.
she wanted to
Yeah. Interesting.
Candace Cameron from Full House is now very successful in her adult life and seems to live a fairly normal existence. She did Fuller House too. She's famous for doing all the. If Hannah Claire was here, she would be like, she does the Hallmark movie. She does the
Oh,
Hallmark
gosh,
movies.
yeah, the
She's
Hallmark
great,
movies.
but she's great. She's a conservative in Hollywood, I shouldn't say she's a conservative. She's very clearly is, but doesn't talk about it.
But
and
she was a child star.
yes.
Well, I wonder if that would keep them sane. If more of them are like, okay, so this is what I think is true. I know this is true. Everyone's going to disagree with me, but that's okay. I need that kind of adversity.
She just doesn't talk about her politics, but it's very clear that she's
Right.
not part of that. Or Miley Cyrus, another childhood star
She went
that
through rough
is
patches.
I mean, she's still going through rough
Right.
patches. She's so it's like maybe there's something to it that the women definitely like they're definitely sexualized from a younger age, which is always disturbing. And it kind of blows my mind that this is something that is literally just talked about and it causes these issues. And then, now we're just talking from the industry side. We're not even talking about social media side, which is what Selena Gomez was talking about. She's
Right.
talking about, Joe Schmo 32 on Twitter, who just wants to come out and call her awful names. But you have to learn to ignore it and to
Right.
just not care, or just not engage. Like I don't engage. Like if people say, like, I get comments on stuff from time to time, like people will send me messages. In no way does responding stop them from. It's not like they're gonna be like, oh, good burn on me, dude. I'm just gonna leave you alone.
No.
I just starve them of the attention.
Right.
They want the attention. I'm not going to give it to them. I will move on. Like it's not like I'm going to hit him back with something and he's gonna slink off. He's gonna keep coming at me.
Right. He's
I don't
like,
think
"Oh, I got his
in
attention."
my life I've never sent anyone like an unsolicited snarky message. Like,
Why would you do that?
is that something you would do? I don't feel like that's something you would do.
Not that I remember.
But I bet you I bet you get
I
it.
trolled people,
Yeah.
but
That's
like
different.
yeah, that's
It's
a
like
lot
sending them
different
a
than going
DM.
to a DM,
Right.
Yeah, that's the weirdest to me.
making some personal
Yeah.
remark.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that stuff never makes sense to me, but those are different personality types. Like I just don't see the people who create tend to not be like that. I find like if you're busy creating stuff, you're not going to go tear down somebody or send some
That's
random
true.
message to somebody just cuz.
Good point.
But they have to deal with that in this industry, and unfortunately they have to learn how to do it in a way that is constructive for them. And if that means going off social media, maybe that's all you can do.
Yeah, that
I
would be a
mean,
huge step forward for sure.
Do you guys ever take time away? Do you ever like just like put your phone away and not go on it for a while?
Yeah, at night.
Well,
Turn off your phone like an hour
I guess
before you go to
like
bed. You're supposed
okay,
to.
social media. Do you like turn off social? Do you go away from social? A lot of people do social media detox for periods of time.
I've never felt that was necessary.
I don't think so. I've done a detox from Twitter for a while, just because of Lent a couple years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Or I turned my phone black and white so it's less attractive to my brain chemicals.
Wow,
Right.
wow, that's
smart. Mine
big-
does that at
big
midnight.
brain.
Yeah,
Big
mine
brain
does that at
thinking.
Brain
midnight,
up here.
big brain
Hold
thinking.
on. Bedtime mode.
Yeah.
I know when I just changed my phone recently, and for like 2 days I couldn't figure out what was bothering me, and the blue light was just killing my eyes, and I didn't realize it until like everything on my phone. Like I finally did the thing where like I like actually transfer everything over the right way, and the one thing that didn't transfer over was the blue light filter was off, and for 2 days I'm like,
What's going on?
why do I have headaches? So, I couldn't
yeah,
couldn't
it's a
figure it out.
problem.
So I feel like I feel for her. I do.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
For all of these people, because when you choose to put yourself out there, you have to accept. We do that here. Like that's like I didn't want to do this show. Like I did not.
Yeah, I know you didn't.
Like at first, like I like talking about this stuff, and I think there's interesting conversations to be had. But I'm also a private person, and am not inclined to just like inject my opinions everywhere. But found that I enjoyed doing it. But it's also like you have to then take what comes with that, and that's not always easy.
Excuse me. I have a theory that Justin Timberlake and Jake Gyllenhaal did better with this kind of thing because they were from the time before there was quite so much social media.
Yeah,
I feel
absolutely.
like the women were just a little more fragile in general.
And tabloids are more likely to pick on them,
True.
I'm sure.
And they were
than
sexualized. They're right.
Yeah.
Like Cole's right. I mean, he's entirely correct about that, and that makes their experience entirely different from males.
He talks about how he was going to quit acting when he was like after being a kid, and then like decided like went to college, got his degree, and then decided to try out for Riverdale, and they like took him. He's like, oh, so he became famous again for like another reason down the line. So that's pretty impressive if you ask me.
And
That's great,
Dylan
yeah.
has his own brewery, I think.
So isn't it weird how so many celebrities end up going into like owning like either
Some
wines,
weird trade. Yeah.
wines or
Candles,
yeah.
olive oil.
Yeah.
what was
Paltrow.
Courtney's company the other day? Poosh. I still
Oh,
want.
no.
I don't know
That's a
what
horrible
poosh
name.
is.
I don't
want to know.
I have no desire to know what the hell Poosh is, but like a lot of like the actors like that when I used to have a Twitter they'd advertise like this is my new wine. I'm like, did you
Oh,
like
yeah.
did you like sign up for like a winemaking class?
Frankie Muniz, another child star, but who forgot his entire career. He had like some olive oil business going.
Interesting.
And had a second career as a race car driver.
What?
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I guess when you
sounds
forget
familiar.
everything, all the doors are open.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want.
He was I think the injury I don't know if the injury came from that, but he worked as like look it up. You'll see. It's like he worked as a
Good
NASCAR.
for him.
It wasn't
Cool.
NASCAR, but it was like a stock car or something like that.
That's awesome.
I remember he like did like one random episode of Criminal Minds like in his adult life, and it played a character with like trauma. Like
Wow.
in his like mental trauma because he's like his wife gets in the show like his wife gets like murdered in front of him. It's kind of taken from the movie The Crow, which we talked about the other day, and then he kind of goes like multiple personality disorder and is like killing all these gangbangers without realizing that he's doing it. And it's just funny because he's so tiny. He's like he's not very
very
big.
scrawny,
He's fairly muscular in the show for like, but he's like really short. So it's like I don't know if I'd buy that, but they're like, you know, if you're like really like out of it like that, and you're like in a like a fugue state, maybe like he was like stronger. So, but yeah,
Possibly
that was a weird thing to see him come out acting, knowing what I knew about him down the line.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I do take breaks from social media from time to time,
Smart.
or at least I try my best to do so. There are other actors with who is it? I saw Mariah Carey, Kanye West, both have bipolar disorder.
A lot of actors.
Carrie Fisher had, and then Mel Gibson I did not know. Demi Lovato
Scott
I knew.
Stapp. Yeah.
Catherine Zeta-Jones, like more than a few have been successful
Frank
and managed
Sinatra.
to have managed to still have very successful careers despite having the conditions that they had. So that's to me is also impressive.
Some would even argue it's not despite their condition, but partly because of it, there's some kind of adversity that makes them a better performer.
artist.
Yeah. So this gets back to that chicken and egg conversations you guys were having early. It seems to me like the type of person who is more likely to be diagnosed with this kind of thing might be a better artist.
Yeah.
That might just be the price they have to pay for being an artist.
Who was it that painted Starry Night? Was that Van Gogh?
Van
Gogh. Yeah. So that's
he was crazy.
That's
poor guy.
But I have a friend who has bipolar disorder, and he's an incredibly talented videographer.
Yeah.
An incredibly talented artist, and I don't know if it plays a role in that for him, but I know that it's he definitely leans into that aspect of it when he's making stuff. I don't know if that's necessarily the healthiest thing, but they'll say that he's suffering for art is very, very much a commonplace thing for people who take it that seriously.
You can kind of draw on it and make it kind of your source of inspiration, because it is a challenge. And if your life is devoid of many other challenges, then something like that you can't escape is kind of useful.
Yeah. And like for me, like I know a lot of people like they don't want to do medication because they feel it numbs them, right?
Yeah.
That was for me. Like they put me on antidepressants when I was younger, and I was on Adderall for almost 20 years, and it took a long time after like making the choice myself to go off to like figure out how to live without medications.
Right.
And so I understand where that instinct is for like the people who feel better without it, but they feel better in the moment, but it's more self-destructive for them long term. When it's connected to your work, that's got to be very hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, Podluck. We do need a theme song. I want a theme song for Podluck. We need Carter to make a theme song.
Yeah, we need like dishes clanking or something.
Great
That'd
idea.
Be fun,
we need to do that.
Or anyone listening, feel
Yes.
free to
Add
apply.
your own, yeah.
Send one in.
Make a theme song.
Send one to my DM.
We
There you
probably
go.
wouldn't be allowed to use it because of like there would probably be like, remember, because they were talking the other night about
you can't use
you
anyone
can't just have
else's.
you can't just like give an idea to someone, they can't listen to it because of
Dumb.
copyright stuff. Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.